Hi everyone, so we're back for another Tutors and Exam vlog, and this time I've managed to take some time with Chris, CEO. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Amy.
So we're going to be talking about the Tutors and Exam story so far, the background, your background, how it all began and how we're going to move forward. So do you want to start by telling us a little bit about your background?
Oh, very exciting things in my background. Right the way back to when I first began as a YTS in menswear retail, way back when in the 1990s. Progressed my way through management in retail, came out of retail, went into the construction industry, finished in that way towards the 2000, the noughties, and then went into an engineering company and logistics. I became the inventory manager for Vodafone quite early on in 2001, 2002. Then Dell, Apple, all those lovely big names I was the inventory manager for.
Quite the catalogue of experience.
Absolutely. And I've also done window cleaning as well.
That's something I didn't know about you.
Yeah, way back when. And then from there, I went into, an engineering. I mentioned engineering. I went into engineering after the logistics and worked for the world's largest manufacturer of industrial tooling, where I was the service and commercial manager. Looked after all the service contracts that we had with Ford, Indesit, people like that, big companies. Little known fact about that company: 1 in 3 cars in the world was built with our tools. Was that?
There you go.
Then the big crash happened in 2007, 2008, and I got made redundant because it was all motor vehicle based and white goods, which people weren't buying, which kind of put me on the trajectory for this, where I am now. I ended up becoming an exams officer in one of the biggest secondary schools in Coventry. Looked after the exams there for about 3 years. And then was approached by one of the awarding bodies to see if I'd like to apply for one of the jobs they had going, which was a support manager for all the schools across the UK. Successfully got that job, spent 3-4 years with Cambridge Assessment, looking after schools and making sure that exams officers were trained up, doing their thing with our qualifications, which was amazing. Loved it very much. But then that got me thinking about private candidates, because we used to get lots and lots of issues around private candidates. Where do they sit exams? When can they do this? When can they do that? So I asked the question of, can we set up exam centres? And it was a big no, because of the conflicts of interest. So I said, well, would you mind if I did it on my own? And OCR gave me our first approvals and our first credit line, which was very good. And here we are today, Amy. 2014, that all began. And here we are today. That was our one centre. We wanted 100 English and maths candidates. And now we've got our 9 centres, including South Africa, and 12,000 entries.
It's quite the journey in realistically quite a short space of time. So you should be really proud of where you've come from and where you've got to now. So how, I suppose that you've sort of covered off a little bit how tutors and exams began, but talk to me a little bit about those first couple of years and how you started to get your new centres on board.
Oh, so yeah, it was quite difficult at the beginning. All the regulations surrounding qualifications, very robust. We spent a lot of time talking to exam boards and getting the approvals that we needed to run the exams. We became tutors and exams. We were originally going to be a different company, and then we came across some of the regulations with the awarding bodies where we needed to provide a minimal amount of tutoring in order to become an assessment centre. So we became tutors and exams late on in 2014. We had 34 candidates in our first year, and it was mind-blowing even then that we would get 34 candidates, because the phones, we needed to get the phones ringing. We had a website to build, and essentially we're not website specialists. We weren't specialists in marketing or anything like that. And it just showed that there was a demand for the service we were offering, because word of mouth went by very quickly. We started networking very quickly as well. and talking to home educators, distance learning providers. We were the first to go out and partner with distance learning providers to ensure that their candidates had somewhere to sit in the Midlands at the time, in Coventry.
Yep.
And then it became very apparent after year 3, when we were up to, I think we were somewhere in the region of 500 candidates in the 3rd year in Coventry, that we needed to expand and we needed to open new venues. So we opened Bolton and Wimbledon very, very quickly after that.
I mean, we've, what was it, 9 centres now? So yeah, that's very, very good. So what has, in that space of time, been the most challenging thing for you?
Wow, there's no end of challenging things, but by far the most challenging has been COVID. Yeah, over the last 2 years, these grey hairs haven't come from nowhere, you know.
So with COVID and obviously everything that happened with that, can you just give the viewers a little bit of an indication to what was actually going on behind the scenes during that time?
Oh, incredibly stressful. So at the time, we had around about 2,500 learners of our own. And when Boris Johnson announced on, I think it was March the 3rd or March the 8th of that year, that exams were going to be cancelled, we felt that our world had just caved in. I mean, as you know, the business is owned by Jenny and myself, my wife and partner, in everything that we do, solely owned by us. And we had a staff then of around about 15 people. And it was just so incredibly stressful that we thought we were going to lose the business overnight because there was no exams. What could we do? They just cancelled them. And we got on our senior leadership team on a call 15 minutes after the announcement was made. It was 5:15 p.m. I remember it well. And we got them all about and said, right, what are we going to do? Yeah, we can't lose a business, and we've still got all these candidates. Where are they going to go? And very quickly, we came up with a plan to contact the awarding bodies, who we were beginning to have a really strong relationship by then. And we were the first in the UK to have a process for private candidates and to be able to, I think back then it was TAG and last year was CAG, yeah, the centre assessed grades and the tutor assessed grades. And we managed to come up with a process very quickly with the awarding bodies, and that actually lifted our levels as well. So we gained around about an additional 1,000 candidates off the back of that.
Wow, that's amazing. So off that then, final question for you. Since the very beginning, what would you say your biggest achievement has been so far?
Biggest achievement. So now we're not just tutors and exams, we're tutors and exams international, and we're tutors and exams South Africa. So our biggest achievement, I think, is securing the business, making sure that our organisation is at the forefront of what we do. We're there advocating for private candidates without a shadow of a doubt. And it's Jenny and I, and the senior leadership team and all the staff, lobbying all the awarding bodies and all the regulators, Ofqual, DFE. We have regular contact with them to make sure that the voice of private candidates is heard, and to make sure that everything's done within the right parameters as well. And that's what we're all about. So our biggest achievement is making those headways and allowing us to become an international business as well. It's just phenomenal. And I'm exceptionally proud of everybody that works for Tutors and Exams, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's not just Jenny and I that have made it happen. It's everybody, including yourself, Amy. Yeah, let's see you change. Yeah,
thank you very much.
Right? And that's what it's about. We've got the people on board, and I know we don't get it right 100% of the time. Don't get me wrong, but people that we've got on board are 100% about getting it right. And that's really proud of. That's our biggest achievement.
No, I think everyone that works for the company should be extremely proud of how they've handled everything over the last couple of years, especially. So on a final note, and this might be a bit of a cheeky ask, but where is Tutors and Exams going? Is there anything you can let us in on? Any secrets, anything like that? Or are you going to keep us completely in suspense?
All I'm going to say is the world is our oyster.
Oh,
yeah. We've got some very interesting conversations going on with some big organizations globally. Yeah. but certainly for our UK friends, we want people to get active with us, Amy. This is what we want. We want people to come on board, get involved, see where we can plug the gaps, what it is we need to do, find out what the horror stories are for people, find out what the good stories are for people. And that's where we can effect that change with them then. So if we need more centres in, I don't know, Cornwall, Devon, whatever, yeah, people need to come and talk to us. And if we're doing it wrong, tell us, yeah. And as I've always tried to make it very clear on all our social media and everything, is we're an open company. We want to hear your views, good or bad. We're not shy. We don't delete anything. We don't remove people unless they're being abusive. Yeah, and that's what we do. But the company in the UK, you won't see as such a rapid growth as we've seen recently, purely because demographically we're all over the place. There aren't many more holes to plug, but certainly internationally the growth will be phenomenal in the next 2 or 3 years.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to being a part of the journey and seeing where it goes. Thank you so much for your time today, Chris. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you've enjoyed today's vlog, then please make sure you like, leave a comment and share where you wish. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Take care now. Thanks, Chris.